Welcome, everybody. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Glad all of you are here with us on this very humid, kind of ugly day, but it's okay. We will get started in about 2 minutes.
Hey, Krista.
Yes.
Can you hear? I was just checking to make sure you could hear me.
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, because I took my headset off. Okay.
Deb, good question. I'm not sure I've even started my holiday shopping.
I bought 3 gifts yesterday, sitting at my desk here after lunch. And that was it. It's horrible. The whole month has just gotten away from me.
Mm-hmm.
Can't imagine I'm alone in that.
Nope. This may be the year that everybody gets hugs and a cookie.
Well, I'm thinking gift card or money at this point.
Right?
And you get $1 and you get $1 and you get $1.
Yep. All right. What time is it? We got about 1 more minute and we will get this kicked off. Hope everyone is doing well. Oh, Thelma is finished.
With 13 kids? Oh, wow. That's doing a make it Christmas. That's awesome.
That is great, Thelma.
Tracy, how are you almost done?
Online shopping works really well. But
Yeah, that's true. I
for the
need to
for the
get on there.
grandkids, I picked one bigger, larger thing instead of trying to buy little things, and
That's what I did this year.
tons of time.
Yep.
That's awesome. All right. Well, I have 2 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And my name is Krista Mosier, and I am the manager of PD Field Services. And joining me today as my co-host is Wendy Christensen.
Hello, everyone.
We will please put your questions in the chat pod as you have them. And of course, we will have our question times as well. So we are going to get started. Our agenda is full as always. We have our T-call announcements, update from the PD centers, new training conferences and statewide events, monthly webinar series, assessment announcements, PD portal announcements, and then our PD coordinator time. So first up is Deb, and I'll let her.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy holidays. Just a reminder that T-call will be closed from Friday, December 24th through Friday, December 31st to be with our families to celebrate the holiday. There is a possibility that we might get off a little earlier on the day before Christmas Eve, but just know that we'll have our recordings on and we'll be happy to get back with you after we celebrate the holidays. We wish you all a happy holiday.
And it's still you.
Oh, and we are hiring. You may have seen some of these come through the listserv. We're looking for a couple of people. Professional development specialist. We need a new PD specialist now that Ashley's moved from the PD specialist role over to the call center. This position is not necessarily tech based. It's just a traditional PD specialist. And then we need a learning support specialist 1 for the distance education call center. We're looking for a full-time person to have that job. And then we're also looking for some part-time people. Now, I'm going to put some links in the chat pod. We don't have the links for the call center just yet, but as soon as we get those, we'll send those out on the listserv. And then finally, the PD portal folks are looking for another person to join their team. And so they're looking for a tech savvy person that is familiar with technology, video production, post-production, all things PD portal and so forth. You'll find more information in the chat pod when you click on those links, and let us know if you have any questions. And I think that's it for me.
Awesome. Thank you, Deb.
Welcome.
All right, and now we're going to have our updates from our new professional development centers. So I invite Joan Jackson to talk about the Career Pathways PDC.
Hi, everyone. I am Joan Jackson, the training coordinator for the Career Pathways Professional Development Center. And our big update is the registration is open for our first series of trainings that we're putting on. We're doing a 3-part series over planning and implementing IET programs. And our first session is actually tomorrow, and it is full. So yeah, we will be doing a on-demand course in the future. So we will send out more info on that as we get closer to it. But there is still, registration is still open for our second workshop, which is developing IET curriculum on January 14th, and our third workshop, implementing the IET on February 18th. And that's what I've got for right now. Happy holidays, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, Joan.
Thanks.
All right. Next, we have Michelle Vick to talk about the distance education PDC.
Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle. I'm Associate Director of the Distance Education Professional Development Center. And we introduced a little bit about what we're about last month in the meeting, but we just wanted to say that we want to know what your staff's training needs are, your program's training needs around anything to do with tech or remote learning or digital literacy, distance learning. So we've created a survey. Some of you have already taken the survey, but if you would take a moment to go ahead and get it open, but don't work on it during the meeting, and just hold space for it to be open and take maybe 10 minutes right at the end of the meeting. That would be really helpful for us. If you don't know the answers to some of the distance learning questions that are at the beginning about distance learning curriculum, you can skip past that part, but there's a lot of questions about tech integration needs within your program towards the end, and I'd love to hear from you about that. And you can go to the next slide, Krista. The other thing is that as we get ready to open the call center, the success of the call center is really dependent on students and instructors using it. And we want to make sure that enough people know about it. So we'd love to do a drop-in at program staff meetings and consortium staff meetings around the state in January, February, March, just to put it out there and make sure everybody knows about this wonderful resource that's going to be free and available and really designed to take a lot of the load off your own staff on answering questions that have to do with tech and with distance learning. So if you'll either drop in the chat box, if your staff has a meeting, like when it happens, and I put an example here, if it's the third Thursday of the month and what time. Or you can email Ashley or I. We've got our email addresses in the chat box. And then I'll hand it over to Ashley. She's going to talk specifically about the call center on the next slide.
Okay, so this is Ashley. Jared, can you put your, I put our emails in there. That might be easier, but if you are going to put your name in the chat, please include your email address so that we can grab that. That would be helpful for us. And Thelma said that they usually do theirs face-to-face, but we could create a Zoom link to drop in. That would be great. Shanna, again, yeah, if you guys can drop us your email addresses.
Ashley,
Thank
I don't
you.
know if they're replying to that or just a lot
I'm
of.
getting a little bit of everything. That's why I kind of want to point out, if you guys could send me an email, it'd probably be easier, but I will try to grab it. Your email addresses as they're coming in once I get off of this here. Okay, sorry. I'm happy to see people interested though. So this is making me happy to see you guys responding. So with that in mind also, this is kind of plays off of that. We are also really in need of some volunteers to be a little bit of a pilot program. I say a little bit for a reason, because this does not mean that we're asking like a huge time constraint from you. What we are needing help with is connecting with some students. So we're planning on doing a soft rollout of the call center in January. My goal is January 17th. But I need students to help me. And so I'm just looking for some programs. If you could, again, could send me an email, let me know if you're interested. But I'm looking for student referrals, maybe target those students that, distance learning students, especially the ones who are at home on the weekends and at nighttime, and you're not always available for them. Those are the ones we'd really like to target. And we're just looking for some programs to help us get this started and get this rolling out. Nothing more than just helping us with the students, maybe giving us some recommendations. What you think? And if you're interested in, I've had a couple of people say that they would be interested in just experiencing the call center themselves as a student would, so that they could maybe help the students get comfortable with the idea. And that's all I have.
All right. Thank you very much, Ashley. So Tiffany is asking, even remote students are pure distance learning. I love to experience it too.
Yes, all students. I don't care who they are. I'll take them all. I will turn no one away at this point unless they're mean to me. That's it.
Okay, excellent. Our next is talking about new training conferences and statewide events. So I'm going to ask Denise Arand to come on and talk about TALE.
So I just wanted to say that the TALE conference this year, the pre-conference will be hybrid, just the pre-conference day, which is February 9th. And then the rest of the conference will be in Houston. So registration is open. And so there's information. Here I have a poster or whatever, a flyer, but I think the registration has already gone out. I can go back and post the information, or we can share the links as well for registration and for the hotel, and then just the web page that has the overall information for TALE.
Yes. Wendy, can you put the links in here for the registration, more information?
I'll work
in the
on that.
hotel?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll get them in.
Right. And
Thank
on
you.
the pre-conference day, I just want to say that they can register, people can register for the pre-conference day as well. And what we do is we pull all that information and then we give it to TCAL and TWC for them to review. And that's the only day, as I said, that'll be hybrid, where you'll have a choice between coming to face or coming or participating virtually. But the registration is all there together. I will try and go back as well and just post into the communities of practice, which I did last year. And I usually try to put it in with the PD coordinators, because I know the PD coordinators are the people that everybody asks about the PD and about how to do it and what to do. And so last year I put some things in there, even though last year was virtual. So there were a lot more questions just as far as how to, get into the system or how to register or whatever anybody else needs. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Denise. Beth, did you want to speak to any more about the pre-conferences?
Yeah, I'll just jump in real quick. As Denise said, registration for the pre-conferences is going to be through the TALE website. Just so you know what's going on, that's February 9th. The Career Pathways PD Center is going to have a day-long session. Then we will have a PD coordinator session in the morning from 8:30 to 11:30. And then program staff who are quality assurance. So the QAPA staff will be having a session from 1 to 4. So in the afternoon, these will be streamed. So if you're in the session, there we will have a camera set up. So we will have some people joining us virtually and then some actually on the ground in Houston. And as far as the PD coordinator session goes, we're super excited to be able to do that for you all and hope that you can join us. And if you have particular topics that you would like to have us cover during that time together, you can either email Krista or me, or go ahead and put it in the chat. So we look forward to seeing everybody. Thanks, Krista.
Absolutely. Thank you, Beth. I got
Krista, I'm sorry to unmute myself. I have one
no,
more
go
thing.
ahead.
I
Absolutely.
forgot to say that presentation proposals, the due date is tomorrow. So I'm just going to say here, if you haven't already done it and you want to, or you have somebody that wants to do it, if you need extra time, I'm only saying that to PD coordinators only. Please email me and just let me know so that I can expect it, because the due date is the 10th, which is tomorrow. So thank you.
All right. And Denise, if you would put your email address in the chat so people have that.
Okay, thanks.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Beth. All right, moving on. Paula?
Thank you,
your
Krista.
turn.
Hello, everyone. After Taylor, the wonderful event at the beginning of February, you start having your Literacy Texas symposiums and, of course, your annual Literacy Texas conference. So these are all currently planned to be face-to-face events. If anything should happen, you will find updates on their website link, which I have at the bottom left-hand corner of this screen. But we have at the end of February, the South Texas Literacy Symposium, which will physically be located in Edinburgh. And then in March, the very first part of March, we have East Texas in Longview. And then at the beginning of April, we have South Plains, which is going to be located in Lubbock. And then the annual Literacy Texas 2022 Texas Conference, if you haven't heard, it will be in the town of College Station. And all the details and how to register for each of these events is also in that link at Literacy Texas. Thank you, Krista.
Thank you, Paula. Next is Tracy.
Thanks, Krista. Good afternoon, everyone. We have a new training to announce, Poetry in Motion, Building Writing Skills. It's a pilot on January 20th. So have you ever considered using poetry as a way to help build the reading and writing levels of your students? Would you like to learn strategies to leverage your students' knowledge and emotions in a way to make writing fun and engaging for all age groups? Are you intrigued? We want you to come join us for a new training developed by Delia Watley from Irving ISD. This will be very fun, interactive, and packed full of resources to help you. We guarantee you will be a poet and know it by the end of the training. So this is a pilot, and the pilot group, the registration is actually available in the PD portal. Thank you, Yoli, for making that possible yesterday afternoon. We'll take this pilot group and we'll ask you at the end of the training for some targeted feedback on the training, since it's the first time Delia will have presented it virtually. So PD portal registration is up and available. If you want to register, we will do this training again. So this is not like, if you can't get into the pilot, we will offer it again virtually, I'm sure, maybe a couple of times. And we can also offer it face-to-face you could request it for your program face-to-face with Delia, or virtually. So you could talk to your PD specialist about that. But we're very excited about it. Delia is a great trainer, and this is a great way for ESL students or GED, ELA students to learn to write in a fun way. So thanks, Krista.
You are welcome. Looking at some of the questions that have come in, Tiffany has asked if we are not a Taylor member, are we able to sign up to be one at the registration point? So that would be a question for Denise.
Yes, I unmuted, and I'm typing it here as well. You can add it. If you know that your membership's not current, you can add it as part of the registration process.
Thank you. And it looks like the rest of the questions are answered as far as Did y'all say that the Taylor pre-conference day is available virtually? And that answer is yes. But the rest of the conference is face-to-face. All right, thank you. All right, next is our question and answer time. Does anybody have any other questions? That we can take care of right now? Da, 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 na, 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 na. Okay, moving on. Always put them in the chat anyway. All right, next is our monthly webinar series. And so I will have Wendy come on and talk about Manager Mondays.
Okay, hello everyone. So the next Manager Monday is going to be December 13th, which is next Monday. And we have Dr. Alvarado returning to talk about coaching and empowering questions. And this is going to be a really great session. So I really encourage all of your supervisors or directors or anybody that's in a leadership position of some sort. There is definitely information that you can learn and take away from this 1 hour session. Next slide. And then coming up in January, we have TWC doing the session on HSC vouchers. And then in February, Dr. Alvarado is going to return doing building and maintaining trust. And then back in March, TWC is returning to do AEL testing guide review. So all of those are really good topics for anybody in a supervisory or leadership position. So I encourage all of you to attend those sessions. And I think I'm going to do, before we go into Workforce Wednesday, I also want to mention that these are all of the dates for 2022. So they are all set through January through December. So you can put them on your calendar.
All right. We are taking a break from Teacher Tuesday in December. Our next session will be January 11th. I am still not sure about the topic yet, but I will get that as soon as possible and out and announced as soon as we have that session topic. All right. Go right ahead, Wendy.
Okay, had to unmute again. So I'm just filling in for Dr. Escamilla on this one. On December 15th for Workforce Wednesday, Marie Anaya, the Career Pathways Navigator from Ysleta Adult Learning Center, will share insights into her process for working with students that are educated professionals from other countries. You will hear about how one program identifies services needed and works with students through the process of intake, goal setting, collecting documentation, monitoring, and reviewing next steps. And then in January, we are going to have Rosa Guzman Snyder doing Unpacking Our Bias. Next slide. And then here are the dates for next year for all of the Workforce Wednesdays. So just like Manager Monday, you can go ahead and add these to your calendar. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. And I am stepping in for Anne Marie Molinari Sanders this afternoon to talk about Tech and Tells. As we enter into the new year, I'm excited to announce that we have our very own trained PD director, Dr. Deborah Hargrove, and the Distance Education Call Center manager, Ashley Winkle, presenting for our January's Tech and Tell, which features a series of contextualized videos for instructional purpose and use by AEL students. Please plan to encourage your instructors to attend as Dr. Hargrove and Ashley take you through the development of and implementation recommendations of these contextualized video lessons, which were influenced by the fictitious lives of 5 students and their desire to pursue jobs and careers at the Adult Ed Med Hospital. The target audience is instructors and instructional leads, and this will be January 28th. And registration is available in the portal. Stay tuned for our next dates in 2022 and our next exciting sessions. Excuse me. I'm trying not to cough here. And again, as always, if you have any ideas for webinars, you can contact any of these people. Manager Monday is Wendy, Teacher Tuesday is myself, Workforce Wednesday is Olga, and Tech and Tell is Anne Marie. So reach out to these people if you have suggestions. And I see Lorraine, are all these trainings already listed on the events calendar in the PD portal? Yes. Yeah, registration is available. All right. Any other questions? All right, I'm not seeing anything come in, so we'll press on to assessment trainings. So this will
It's
be
me.
Tracy.
Thanks, Krista. Okay, so I want to thank all of you who completed the survey that was sent out this fall about your needs for assessment trainings and for training of trainers for the assessments. So we've been reviewing the results, and we're going to offer several TOTs in the spring. Just stay tuned for more information. We'll let you know as we plan some dates and get with the trainers and see when they're available. But I appreciate all of your responses there. I did want to share that we did have a CASAS TOT, mini TOT last week. I just wanted to share to you PD coordinators that trainers who had come to the original CASAS training back in 2019 when it was rolled out in the state, we had made some changes, and CASAS, the national CASAS folks let us make it a Texas style version. So there were about 22 trainers that came last Tuesday afternoon, and we just refreshed them on the changes that were made to these modules. And now they have access to the Texas style version of the CASAS materials. So anyone that had gone to the original CASAS trainings back in 2019, we've deactivated access to those materials. So I just wanted to share that with you. We appreciate your support of that. It looks like we will have a CASAS training of trainers in the spring, because there were a lot of people in that training last week who had not conducted a CASAS training yet. So our recommendation, even though they have access to the materials, is that they come through a full-fledged CASAS training of trainers event. So in the meantime, just stay tuned, and we will, that Santa was jumping when we put it in there. I guess he lost energy. We wish you a happy holidays. Oh, there he goes. Thank you, Krista. Just makes it kind of fun. We wish you a happy holiday. And
I thought I saw him moving when I was reviewing it. So all I did was clicked on him and made him.
Okay. And he's not jumping. He's just happy.
He's
So anyway, y'all have a happy holidays. And know if I can help you, Robin Booth and I, just let us know.
And again, we are super glad that you're back with us.
Oh, thanks, Krista. I appreciate that. It's good to be back.
All right. And I'm just going to press on to Katie. If you have questions about assessments, just put them in the chat pod. And Katie?
Hey, everybody, and happy holidays. We have 3 new courses that have been published in the PD portal this month. They are actually all of them are Tech and Tell. Tech and Tell, have you heard the word about vocabulary.com? That's part 2. Turning your classroom with video discussions and interactive presentations with Mentimeter and Slido. We are still going through some transition in our post-production processes, so we're slowing down just a little bit, but we will continue to publish content as it becomes available to us. All right, and I am taking this one for Laura as well. So the first part is just a reminder. So if a supervisor, anyone who has supervisory access in the PD portal, assigns a training to staff by accident or for whatever reason they need to remove it, you have the ability to do that. And I am actually going to share right now a instructional PDF that includes those steps with you. And then the second part is actually recently, it was the end of October, we had a Cornerstone release and we just had some updates done. So now, as of now, participants are able to remove training that they have self-requested from their own on their own transcript. So if they went in and signed up for some training and they don't want it, they can go on there and they're able to click a button and they can remove it. So I'm also going to post in a link where you can find that as well. It's on our PD portal FAQs PDF, and that's also available on our website. I will put this in the chat pod. If you have questions regarding any of that, removing things from your active transcript, please send us an email at pdportal@tamu.edu.
All right, thank you, Katie. And I'm going to go ahead and move to the next slide, but there has been some questions about the assessment guide. The question was, any information about the new assessment guide? And Tracy put the link to it, to the guide in the chat. And then the next question was, thank you, training in March. And the answer for that is TWC will review the testing guide in the March Manager Monday. So does that answer your question? Or are you thinking something more specific, Diane?
Let me unmute. Well, I know that, you know, we all need to go through and read over that, but I was hoping there was going to be something. I know that we're held accountable for what's in there as of, I guess, immediately when it was released. And so I just, my manager and I were talking about it, and yeah, I do remember that. Yes, I see that in the chat. It's not really an assessment guide, that it's testing and performance. So I just wanted to know if there was going to be anything that we could discuss as a group so that we don't miss something. I guess Manager Monday is going to cover that. I was thinking that we would also, not just the managers, but there would be something for the people who are testing.
Okay. I do not know that we have discussed a formal training for the testing guide. Beth or Deb, do you know anything? Has anything come up or been asked about that?
I see that the appendix lists the changes. I have heard that. So I just found out about this yesterday. So I haven't really had a chance to look through there, but during the holidays, I'll do that.
Hi, Krista, this is Beth. And no, we haven't talked about doing a formal training around the testing guide, but I can certainly bring it up with TWC and see if that's something that they would like us to pursue. So I'm making a note right now, and I will bring that up when I meet with them next week.
There may be some points they want to emphasize. So.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, you're the group that I will let know if they decide they want us to build something out. Okay.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. Excuse me, hang on, I'm muting.
Okay, I'm going to take over because Krista's having a little bit of a coughing issue. So now it is PD coordinator time. And I think during this time, what's the next slide so we can see if.
This is where they can ask us any questions if they have any questions. What do you need help in? It's like an open time.
Yeah, you can unmute and ask your question, or we will monitor the chat and you can type it out, whichever you prefer.
Yes. And I'm back kind of. Mauro Serrano from Tarrant County had asked a couple of questions about PD monitoring, and then he was not going to be able to be on today. So I'm going to save that for January. So if you're interested in some answers about PD monitoring, I'm going to make sure I get all the answers from TWC before that session. But so just kind of give you a heads up on a question that we'll have. But does anybody have any questions right now? Anything that, the end of this semester?
It's Marie. I have a quick question. I didn't, but we had some PD trainings that were local
Mm-hmm.
and they were recorded. I have an agenda, but I don't have slides for them. How would we keep that? I mean, can we just keep a link for those recordings?
Are you talking like for documentation for auditing?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
normally the documentation, if you have agenda and sign-in sheets for people, normally that's enough to show what you have. And then, if you have any, course description or anything like that, you might want to put that with that training information. But then, yes, the links would be fine. But if an auditor actually wanted to see what you did and they can get to it, that should be acceptable as well.
Good. Okay. Thank you very much.
And Beth put in the chat pod about, do you have any topics off the top of your head that you might like us to cover in the Taylor pre-conference? And I just want you to know, I really, really hope most of you can come down for face-to-face. We're real excited to be able to see your faces again. So. Tiffany says, I hope I'm rich and able to come down too. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and move on. Our next PD coordinator webinar will be January 13th. And let me look. The February 10th, that we're not going to have a PD coordinator webinar because February 9th will be the PD coordinator session. So hopefully all of you can at least join us virtually and or in person. So we probably will not have a webinar in February. And if we do, we'll move it a week up or a week down. So Thelma asked, do most of the PD coordinators attend all sessions of Taylor, or would you just be attending the PD session? That's completely up to the program. I mean, we would want the PD coordinators to be able to attend the conference as well. But if you wanted them to just come down for the session, that's all right too. That's completely up to the program. Or are you asking the group, Thelma? I just realized what you might have been asking. Are you asking the group what they're going to do? Okay. So she says, okay, I wasn't sure if the other sessions would be beneficial. I am asking the group. So what is the group's plan? Are you going to go to Taylor for the actual conference?
Yes, this is Thelma. In the past, I've only ever gone to the PD coordinator sessions, but my director is okay with me maybe going to the rest of it if those sessions would be beneficial to my job. So just, to spend that money to do so. I was just wondering what everybody else is doing. If
Yes.
people are planning to attend the whole thing or just to attend the PD session.
Right. So if you want to unmute or put it in the chat pod, Marie says, if we come, I'll attend more sessions. They are always great. Tracy says there are always a lot of great sessions at the Taylor Conference and the networking is great. And that is for sure. It's also a great place to identify presenters who you might want to bring to your program. We've had a lot of people come in and say, I saw this person at Taylor. Can you hire them for our program? Shauna says, I'm attending everything I can. Lorraine says, attend as much as you can. Knowledge is power.
So what do you guys think about the data specialist? Is there something that will be beneficial for them too?
So data specialists like data entry people?
Yes, we have one that's in charge of all the data entry. She has helpers, but she's, manages that. So I don't know if there would be things that would be beneficial for her also.
That I don't know with as far as individual sessions, obviously, because I don't look for data, that kind of stuff. I don't know if Denise or somebody else is on that kind of can talk to that.
I have an opinion on that.
Okay.
Based on my experience, I think that if she's like a data lead where she's, has people helping her, anything related to MSGs, or if there's anything in the schedule related to MSGs or policy related to data and stuff like that, it would all be helpful to know the bigger picture rather than just the team's part.
Okay. And it would be good networking for her too if there's other data people that are going to be there.
Yes.
Okay. Great. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
All right. And Tiffany says, my plan is if my director says that I can go, I'm going to Houston and whatever I can attend. All right. Awesome questions. Awesome discussion. Larissa says same.
And I just wanted to throw out there that Saturdays at the conference is a teacher day. So for you PD coordinators, if y'all are trying to decide, who to send, and your teachers, maybe sending some teachers on Saturday, because it's all about teachers, all the sessions pertain to them. So that's something to consider. I think there's just a 1-day registration for teachers on Saturday as well. So it's just good to know. We want teachers to be there and get to network as well and get some professional development.
And Denise says, I do not want to seem biased, but some of the most helpful collaborations I have were formed at Taylor. It gives you the chance to interact with other programs and learn. And I agree with that completely, Denise.
So even though I said I wasn't going to do it, I'm still going to do it. I can never help myself. What I will say for me is the difference is Taylor, it's a volunteer organization. So it's all people that are actually at programs, and we put on the conference and put everything together as volunteers. And so the idea is for us to pull people that are doing things and share that information, because a lot of times, you do the same trainings all the time, or you get the same information, or the same people always in the meetings. And if we can all bring in a variety of people that are doing good things, that's where the opportunity is, to me.
Yeah. And I think that sometimes, our data entry people, recruiters, these people that are on the backside of our programs, they don't see the big picture all the time. They don't see what they do and how important it is. And these kind of conferences gives that networking and, oh wow, there's a whole world out here that's adult ed, and other people do my job as well. So I'm all for bringing anybody and everybody that can go, and it is all except for keynotes and those kinds of things. It's all professional development hours that that can be documented. So, and we've got a few things. Deb says, I'm bringing our new office manager, who is Dana Evans, so she can network and meet all of you kind and dedicated educators. Tiffany says, I met Ashley at Taley. Lorraine, Taley is something I look forward to every year. It's where I recharge. And Thelma, I guess we've talked Thelma into it. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to try to bring everyone. That's awesome. All right, great. So one last thing, Ashley, do you want to talk about our Facebook stuff again?
Yes, people are probably getting sick of me talking about it, but I'm going to anyway. I was going to say before that, though, when we were talking about sending people and attending different things, I do think that you should send everybody like others have said, because there's so much that we do in adult education that there's always more to learn. And I feel like it helps you as an adult educator, no matter your role, to understand what it is we truly do. Because that's where I've learned a lot about career pathways and things like that. So that's just my 2 cents on it. And I do agree that I think that Taley is one of the best, and I have no reason to be biased, except that I think it is the best one. Pretty high up there anyway. We are encouraging everybody to like us on Facebook, because we just started the online community. And also LinkedIn. I think, Michelle, if you have the link, you might want to drop that in there. There she goes. Mostly because we're trying to get ourselves promoted and share all the things that TCAL does, which, as it turns out, is a lot. So if you could please help us, like us, share it if you can, get your friends to like us too. We'd appreciate it. Just thought I'd go ahead and throw that out there again. That's all I got.
All right. Thank you, Ashley. Do we have any other last minute questions or comments? Michelle's throwing some links in the chat pod, including that survey. So. And again, thank you for joining us today. I hope everyone has a very happy holiday season and break, and comes back in January ready to roll for a very busy spring, as they always are. And our next session will be January 13th. Email us if you have any questions or comments that you want to share. Have a great day.